So addiction is way more complex than what science knows. And shamans, mystics, people who are psychic, etc., they have a completely different view of what addiction really is and what is causing addiction. Especially when we are talking about alcohol, substances, this has to do with negative entities. These people have a lot of parasitical entities around them that feed off the energy of an addict. Person delivers some kind of energy or emotional state to an entity feeds off the person and manipulates the person to deliver them the emotions and the energy and the feeling that they desire. I had interactions with positive entities, negative entities. Hey, this is Mike Sigla from TrueSpirit.com and welcome to another episode of True Spirituality. So True Spirituality is my series where I talk about metaphysics, esoteric ideas and teachings, mysticism, shamanism, consciousness, spirituality, and a little bit of everything. So if you like these types of topics, welcome. If you're new here, please subscribe and have a look at previous episodes because this is episode 70 something already. And before we're gonna start, I need to make an announcement. So my online course called Exit the Matrix is live now. You can check it out at truetheory.com/academy. It's a personal development course that has over 30 different modules, guided meditation, Qigong, Chinese exercise system practice, and it helps people to figure out what is blocking them from reaching their goals. Helps with things like relationships, career, a bunch of different areas in life that are important for every one of us. So have a look at truetheory.com/academy, and I'm currently offering it at half price. So you can get it for as little as $60. Normal price is $120. Or there is an option with 4 weeks of group calls, which is more expensive, but it's also half price now. And it's only for the first 50 people. So all you have to do is use the coupon code Black Friday together at checkout and you get 50% off. So if you're interested, hurry up because this is limited offer. Go to truetheory.com/academy and enjoy the course. Okay, enough of me talking about this stuff. Let's talk about the topic. So addiction is way more complex than what science knows. And shamans, mystics, people who are psychic, etc., they have a completely different view of what addiction really is and what is causing addiction. So this is what we're gonna talk about today. I'm gonna give you some examples and stories of some of the things we're gonna talk about. It's gonna get esoteric because it is esoteric. And I'm gonna give you some tools that might work for you if you have problems with addiction. So watch till the end. So I already made 2 videos talking about why alcohol consumption is related to entity possession, temporary entity possession. Have a look at these videos because that's what addiction very often is linked to, right? So the mechanism, how it starts, yes, some of these things are definitely true. Sometimes it's some kind of events from childhood. Sometimes it's genetic, sometimes it's a mixture of different things. But when you look at it from a way deeper perspective, you live forever, you have really kind of one life that you go in and out. So some of these things that you are experiencing now are related to previous incarnations, some of the patterns you had before, some of the agreements that you have with your soul plan, soul family. Sometimes we choose different options and different experiences for our growth. So it's more complex. It's not just, I have this problem. There is a bigger mechanism behind it. But very often, once someone is addicted already, especially when we are talking about alcohol, pornography, substances, this has to do with negative entities. These people have a lot of parasitical entities around them that feed off the energy of an addict. Watch these 2 videos I mentioned because I was giving a couple of examples there. So, person delivers some kind of energy or emotional state to an entity. An entity feeds off the person and manipulates the person to deliver them the emotions and the energy and the feeling that they desire. I said we're going to go deep down the rabbit hole with this one. So let me give you an example. I had some of my own challenges with addictions, maybe not crazy, but definitely one of the bigger ones for me was problems with pornography, basically, you know. Since 2015 to 2022, I was doing plant medicine ceremonies and sessions with psychedelics, where I would do a lot of work with jumping into my past lives, seeing different scenes, you know, tuning into my higher self, jumping into higher densities, all sorts of really incredible things where I would learn a lot about this stuff. I had interactions with positive entities, negative entities, all sorts of things like that. And obviously, you know, someone like me, I'm an empath. I have my senses developed far. I've been meditating for a very long time, like whatever, 15 years or something. I'm more sensitive, right? When I was doing psychedelics, obviously they are amplifiers of consciousness, amplifiers of your own abilities. So I'm automatically becoming more psychic and more connected. And I remember one time I felt that something was sucking the energy from my root chakra, right? I could just feel during the session that I was losing energy all the time. So what I've done at that time, the methods that I had was to call Archangel Michael to remove that, because I had experiences and that's what he helped me with before. And straight away I had a download showing me a past life where I was doing some black magic rituals. Basically, it was like I was wearing a hood, it was like some pentagrams with candles and stuff like that. And I was being explained that whatever I have attached to my root chakra that sucks the energy was a contract for the ritual that I've done in that lifetime, right? This particular lifetime, I was doing some black magic shit. I've seen it a couple of times in other sessions. So this is the premise of black magic, right? That someone gets something, but the entities now suck the energy, for example, from your chakra, whatever, right? You don't even know about it on a physical level. You might feel like drained or might have some negative thoughts, whatever, but this is how this stuff works, right? Then I had a session one time, it was like energy cleaning session where this was removed. And I didn't tell the woman who was running the session, I didn't tell her anything about this stuff. And she picked it up and she said, oh, you have something attached to your root chakra. It's almost destroyed, right? They've been sucking the energy a lot. And then we removed that, right? So these things get way more esoteric, way more crazy than a lot of people can comprehend. So another instances where I understood that this is way deeper, this is linked to entities and, you know, even sometimes previous incarnations. Sometimes what happened, because I'm sensitive, I feel energies. Before I would want to watch some porn and I would start having thoughts about it, I would get this heavy energy just jumping through my root chakra up, just like 20 seconds before, 30 seconds, every single time, right? This is exactly how they manipulate people, right? So the entity is entering and sucking the energy, or using you for a couple of minutes and boom, out. In the past, I had periods when I was a hardcore party guy, right? That was like more than 10 years ago. I was partying like crazy. I've used to do drugs, go to parties, things like that. My partner at that time, she's a psychic, she said, I had a lot of negative entities around myself because of that, right? Another guy years ago, he was like 15 years ago, who was psychic as well, he said, came back from the nightclub and there was a ghost trying to, feed off the fact that he was drunk. So a lot of addiction issues, they have more complex mechanism. It's not only what's going on with you, it's also influences of parasitical beings, archonic beings, ghosts that are people who died and don't know they died, things like that. So I want to give you a very useful tool that might help you if you have these types of challenges to protect yourself. So all you have to do is say this in your mind: I do not allow any negative energies or entities to occupy my space until further notice. I do not allow any negative energies or negative entities to occupy my space until further notice. Everything is working on free will aspect, right? You invited the entities most likely because you started drinking or you started watching porn, whatever, right? So now this affirmation is actually working to block them for indefinite period, right? And I know it works because I can see the differences for myself, and already people are trying it out and it works. And this is really important, the way you structure it. So until further notice, because if you would just do, I do not allow any negative entities or energies to be in my space, that works now, but tomorrow you are open again, right? So that's why you use the until further notice. Another thing about addiction is that once you can hold for long enough sober, you're not feeding the entity anymore, so they probably gonna go away somewhere else because there's nothing for them here, right? So if you can hold it for long enough, then it's likely that you can get out of it and stay away from it, right? The cravings might disappear. Some people say that they had a lot of success on psychedelics with beating addictions. Ibogaine is one of the popular ones for addictions. I don't really know much about using psychedelics for treating addiction. This is something that you really have to research properly if this is the path you want to take. Sometimes they might work, but afterwards you still gotta do the work yourself every day. So just keep yourself out of it. So things are not always simple, straightforward. Also, don't blame entities and don't blame yourself. Forgive yourself if you've done something before. Accept it. Remember, this is part of your path. A lot of things that I went through or I experienced, even though sometimes I was not behaving nicely, let's say, I look at it now as an experience that taught me a lot and helped me to understand these concepts through practice, right? So I can help others now to teach them how these things work, what's going on here. So like I said, watch the other 2 videos I made about alcohol, how it is related to entities, because I give way more examples of some of these things. And I didn't want to talk about the same examples again in this video, so have a look at the other 2 videos. I'm gonna link them somewhere below as well. So let me know what you think about it. If this video resonates, please share it with others. Also, if you want to work with me, I do coaching one-on-one, so check out truespirit.com/coaching, get in touch. And thanks for checking another episode of True Spirituality. Until next time.